Nature has always been unpredictable, but sometimes it writes endings so strange they sound impossible until the fossils prove otherwise. Imagine a flying reptile brought down by a single plant, a giant rhino baked alive in a volcanic inferno, or a small fish fatally stabbed by a squid that was already dead. These aren't myths or exaggerations. They're real prehistoric deaths, locked in stone for millions of years. And scientists are still piecing together exactly how they happened. Today, we're counting down 8 of the strangest fossil deaths ever discovered. Cases so bizarre, they challenge everything we thought we knew about life and survival in ancient worlds. From creatures trapped in freak accidents to predators becoming their own victims, every segment dives into a moment frozen in time, where chance, chaos, and nature's raw creativity collide. By the end of this video, you'll see how unpredictable evolution really is, and how even the strongest, fastest, or smartest species can meet their end in the strangest possible ways. Let's begin with case number 8, where a mysterious tragedy turned one prehistoric family into one of science's most haunting puzzles. On the dry savannas of ancient Ethiopia, a small group of Australopithecus afarensis gathered near a water source, living their ordinary lives without knowing their last day was near. When paleontologists discovered the AL333 site, famously called the first family, they found something astonishing. The fossilized remains of at least 17 individuals, adults and juveniles alike, all preserved together in one shallow layer of sediment. Finding even one complete Australopithecus skeleton is rare, but finding an entire group in the same place raised a mystery scientists are still trying to solve. At first, they thought a flash flood had wiped them out, but sediment analysis revealed no signs of rapid water flow. Another theory suggested predators, possibly saber-toothed cats like Homotherium or Meganterion, which may have attacked and left behind missing finger and toe bones, chewed for calcium. But this idea faces problems too. It's still unknown if these predators hunted in coordinated packs. The final possibility is mass food or water poisoning from contaminated plants or drought-shrunken ponds. The truth remains uncertain, but AL333 offers a rare and haunting snapshot of our ancient relatives facing nature's unpredictability. A reminder that survival was never guaranteed, even for early humans. In what is now coastal Ecuador, drought gripped the land, forcing giant ground sloths called Erymatherium, towering beasts the size of small trucks, to gather around one of the last remaining water sources. At first, this shallow pool must have seemed like salvation, but the discovery at the Tanque Loma fossil site revealed a shocking twist. Beneath layers of bones, paleontologists uncovered an enormous deposit of fossilized dung, weighing the equivalent of more than 80 tons when fresh. As more and more sloths crowded the pool to drink, eat, and wallow, their waste began poisoning the very water they depended on. Over time, bacteria thrived, oxygen levels plummeted, and toxins filled the pool, transforming it into a silent death trap. Similar tragedies happen even today, like modern hippo die-offs in Africa, where overcrowding in shrinking ponds creates the same lethal conditions. The massive sloths kept returning, unaware they were slowly sealing their fate with each drink and splash. Despite their size and strength, these Ice Age giants were defeated not by predators or disasters, but by something they couldn't see. An invisible chemical spiral triggered by their own survival instincts, leaving behind one of prehistory's strangest mass deaths. 45 million years ago, in a lush swamp in what is now Germany, hundreds of frogs gathered during breeding season, their croaks echoing across the shallow waters. But when paleontologists uncovered the Geiseltal fossil site, they found something both beautiful and tragic. Hundreds of perfectly preserved frogs, fossilized together in astonishing detail, their skeletons intact and healthy. At first, scientists thought a sudden drought dried up the swamp, trapping the frogs in mud. But evidence ruled that out, since the area was part of a much larger wetland system. The real answer came from studying modern frogs. During breeding season, males sometimes compete so fiercely that multiple males pile onto a single female, in a behavior called amplexus, holding her underwater in a frantic struggle to mate. Unable to surface, some females drown before they can lay their eggs. For the Geiseltal frogs, this was likely fatal on a large scale. Many of the fossils were found in positions suggesting they were clasped together during death. 75 million years ago, the skies above what is now northeastern Brazil were filled with flying reptiles. But one pterosaur, a species called Ludodactylus, met a death so strange that it still stuns scientists today. When paleontologists uncovered its fossil, they found a rigid yucca leaf, sharp and spear-like, lodged straight through the underside of its jaw. The position of the injury showed exactly what happened. While gliding low over the shoreline, the pterosaur likely struck the leaf at high speed, impaling its jaw instantly. The wound would have left the creature unable to close its mouth or swallow food, leading to starvation, dehydration, and eventually death. What makes this case so extraordinary is how rare plant-related fatalities are in the fossil record. Most prehistoric deaths involve predators, disease, or natural disasters, not vegetation. Yet this unlucky encounter preserved a 1-in-a-million accident in stunning clarity, frozen for millions of years. Even today, yucca leaves send people to emergency rooms with punctures and deep cuts, proving the danger hasn't changed much. In this case, the sky's master was brought down not by claws or teeth, but by a silent, rooted spear, waiting for the perfect moment. In prehistoric Turkey, the ground trembled violently as a volcano erupted, unleashing a deadly wave of heat, ash, and gas that transformed the land in seconds. Among the victims was a Rhinos, an ancient rhinoceros smaller than modern rhinos but still weighing more than 2 tons. When paleontologists uncovered its skull, they noticed blistered bone surfaces and fractured tooth enamel, clear evidence that the animal had been exposed to searing heat exceeding 750 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to strip flesh in seconds. The devastation didn't stop there. A pyroclastic flow, a high-speed avalanche of hot gas and debris followed, powerful enough to obliterate the rhino's body entirely, leaving only the skull preserved in volcanic ash. Across the globe, in Washington state, scientists found a different rhino relative, Dinosaur, preserved in a lava mold after a similar eruption. Gases killed the animal first, then lava engulfed the body, cooling quickly in water and forming a natural cast around it. Over millions of years, the flesh decayed, leaving behind a perfectly rhino-shaped cave. These discoveries reveal how brutally fast volcanoes can erase life, leaving haunting, beautiful traces behind. the raw force of Earth itself becoming both executioner and storyteller. 66 million years ago, a 9-mile-wide asteroid slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, unleashing global destruction in a single day. More than 1,900 miles away in what is now North Dakota, the Tanis fossil site preserves a breathtaking snapshot of that catastrophe. Here, paleontologists discovered fish with their gills packed full of tiny glass beads called microtectites, formed when rock from the impact site melted and rained down from the sky while still glowing. The site also revealed turtles skewered by tree branches, small dinosaurs and pterosaurs jumbled into heaps, and entire nests buried mid-labor, perfectly frozen in time. Unlike most fossil beds where remains are flattened, the Tanis site preserved these victims in 3 dimensions, capturing the exact positions they died in. Scientists believe massive river waves caused by the impact surged inland, flipping ecosystems upside down in minutes. The Chicxulub event didn't just kill the dinosaurs. It triggered an extinction chain reaction, erasing 75% of life on Earth. The Tanis fossils let us witness the first chaotic hour after impact, turning a global disaster into a series of frozen, intimate moments etched in stone forever. In the warm Jurassic seas, a powerful ichthyosaur, an apex predator built like a torpedo with jaws full of razor-sharp teeth, pursued its favorite prey, a squid-like belemnite. But this hunt ended with an ironic twist. As the predator swallowed its catch, the belemnite's hard internal shell, called a rostrum, lodged deep in its throat, puncturing soft tissue and blocking its airway. Fossil evidence captures this moment perfectly, with the belemnite's rostrum still aligned in the predator's mouth exactly as it would have been seconds before death. Apex predators are usually the hunters, not the hunted, but this fossil shows how even the top of the food chain isn't safe from chance. A single wrong bite or unlucky angle can turn strength into weakness in an instant. What makes this case extraordinary is its rarity. Soft tissue injuries like these almost never leave evidence after millions of years. But here, predator and prey are locked together in stone, creating an unmistakable snapshot of an accident preserved forever. It's nature's reminder that survival often depends as much on luck as it does on power or speed. 180 million years ago, a small Jurassic fish drifted near the ocean's surface, unaware of the silent danger floating nearby the carcass of a belemnite, a squid-like creature whose shell had filled with gas, keeping it buoyant. Curious, the fish approached, and in an instant, the belemnite's sharp rostrum slipped into the fish's open mouth, piercing its gills like a spear. Trapped and unable to breathe, the fish thrashed until suffocation claimed it. What makes this case remarkable is that it wasn't a rare accident. Paleontologists have discovered several fossils showing the same fatal pairing, suggesting this was a recurring hazard in Jurassic seas. It's one of the strangest, most ironic deaths ever recorded. A fish killed by something already dead. Scientists call it a prehistoric parallel to choking on a plastic straw, except in this case, the straw was a natural weapon sharp enough to stab through bone. It's a vivid reminder that danger in nature doesn't always come from predators or disasters. Sometimes, survival ends because curiosity meets bad timing, and the fossil record freezes those seconds forever. Looking across these 8 strange deaths, one theme becomes clear. Nature has always been unpredictable, creative, and, at times, brutally ironic. A prehistoric family may have fallen victim to poisoning, predators, or disaster. Giant sloths turn their only refuge into a toxic trap. Frogs drown during mating frenzies driven by instincts meant to ensure survival. A pterosaur was brought down by a silent plant, and rhinos were wiped out in seconds by volcanic fury. At Tanis,
An asteroid's shockwaves killed animals thousands of miles from ground zero, preserving chaos in perfect detail. Even the ocean's strongest hunter choked on a meal, and a small fish died investigating a floating carcass. Each fossil is more than just bones. It's a frozen second where random chance decided everything. These cases remind us that survival isn't just about strength, speed, or size. Sometimes, it's about timing, luck, and avoiding dangers you can't see coming. And the most fascinating part? For every strange death we've uncovered, millions more remain buried, waiting to reveal the hidden stories of life and extinction etched in stone. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and join us where we uncover more untold stories from humanity's past. Each episode takes us deeper into the mysteries of history, connecting us to the people and events that shaped our world today.